And that understanding of business that you get now from talking to shopkeepers, that's something that is really required in the early stages of your career. Otherwise, you just become like a PowerPoint person, and it's hard to make decisions without that judgment coming to you. Local relationships matter a lot more than official head office relationships. Modern trade in India, the stores have a lot of power. Individual store managers are almost like owners of the store. So they don't just mechanically do whatever is told to them by their bosses. They are allowed a lot of freedom and independence to execute at their level. So I just focused on what was in my control, which was those local relationships, and that helped a lot. A lot of international brands believe that you can just import stuff and sell it here, but Kohler has a very different view that in whichever market they operate, they will design products for that consumer. And I think that's a secret for success across industries.
Performance marketing, e-commerce marketing, content marketing. Is this the world that you see yourself in? If you dream to work in these roles at Hindustan Unilever Limited, here's your chance. Apply to AltUni's certificate program in digital marketing with HUL. The participants achieved a return of 12 times the investment with an 80% average salary hike. Hurry up! Apply now to the program from the link in the description. Limited seats available.
CAT is that kind of exam where I just don't think you can prepare that much. Like you can prepare and maybe get a few percentile points. Like if you're at 95, you can go to 99 maybe. But broadly, unless you're really taking it very seriously, which most of us don't, you will end up in a particular zone. Marketing had this notion that it was, it's like sales and it's somehow less prestigious than consulting or finance. I had learned that lesson. Don't get under stress just because this is the first company that's coming and you want to just be out of the process. This is your only shot at getting a job that will be at least in the right industry and in the right field where you want to work. But don't come under stress and just apply anywhere and just get a job. Getting a job is not the goal. Getting the right job in a place that suits your interest is the goal. So ITC was the first FMCG company that had come. I didn't know much about ITC, but again, like I had friends in other campuses who had already gotten placed, so they told me a little bit about what it's like. But it was fine. I think I really liked the people I interviewed with. They liked my energy too, and that's why they hired me. They told me later that I gave them so much pushback that they thought, good, like this is the kind of person we want. I thought I'd done badly because I just argued with them endlessly, but that's what they were looking for. So that's how I got placed. And after that, it was like, yeah, pressure gone pretty much.
So what was the time at ITC like? Did anybody in the family say, why are you working for a cigarette company?
Yeah, so ITC is much more than a cigarette company. It's a conglomerate. It has businesses across hospitality, paper, FMCG. Yeah, it's a very, very large company. It's an institution, over 100 years old, I think now, with some amazing leadership. So it's a great place to start one's career. Also has a lot of resume value, I might add. So my first year at ITC, I was in this place called Belgaum in Karnataka. So my office was in Pune, but I used to travel to all of northern Karnataka. That was like my branch. So I used to get on a bus every Monday at about 4 a.m. reach Belgaum at like 8 or 9 a.m., start the day. Saturdays we used to work. That was like Monday to Saturday sales stint. And Saturday evening I would want to like catch up with friends in Pune. So I would take a bus again, go back to Pune, spend Sunday there, and again Sunday night or early Monday morning catch a bus and come back. Belgaum was great. Like it was really my first time in a smaller city, and that's where I think I fell in love with this lifestyle of not having to commute much and just being really close to work.
But what was the work that you were doing?
I used to visit stores, yeah, morning to night. Just sit at the back of the sales guy. He had a bike and to sell stuff, yeah. You just take orders. Vivel, Fiamma, cigarettes also. Yeah, just take orders, understand what makes the brand tick inside the store. Similar to what I did during summers, like just observing customers. But this was a very traditional trade environment. That was a modern trade environment.
But did you enjoy the experience? Did you get frustrated by the experience? What was the...
So it was enjoyable in parts, but it was also very tough. because you weren't just visiting stores as a tourist, you had like very stiff targets. So at the end of the day, you had to report back on how many cartons of XYZ product did you sell. But yes, it was quite a pressure environment, but one filled with learning that you can't possibly get anywhere else. And that understanding of business that you get now from talking to shopkeepers, that's something that is really required in the early stages of your career. Otherwise, you just become like a PowerPoint person, and it's hard to make decisions without that judgment coming to you. So that was my management trainee stint. The project that I worked on was really interesting. Now it will seem like kitna backward tha, but at that time I was working on a sales app for sales guys who I was accompanying to take their orders online so that they can be synced with the stock, you know. And us time pe mobile app nahi tha, so smartphones had just about started to come in 2012 maybe. So this was in 2011. So us time pe it was like a new thing. But yeah, one could tell that technology can play a huge role in just simplifying this process and making it a lot more data driven than it is today. My hope was that I would become a ASM in a territory, but ITC is a very big company and they have a lot of roles. So I actually got posted to the head office as an assistant key account manager. So while I was there, it was good, but it was like a typical head office role. And at that time, Cadbury was hiring for ASM role in Delhi. So I went in, met the people there, fabulous people. And like I had that thing कि मुझे like ASM बनना है. So I got that chance and I jumped at it.
Cadbury is Mondelez for people who don't know. The branding has changed over time.
Yeah.
So what did you do there as an ASM?
So Mondelez was like a really exciting stint because I was moving to a new city, which is Delhi. I was looking after sales in modern trade for Delhi and Rajasthan. And Cadbury products are like amazing, right? So you have chocolates, Oreo, Tang, Bonvita, all the brands that you grew up with. It was great. I was selling chocolates for a living. And yes, we had chocolates all the time in the office, in case you're wondering. And we used to drink Tang. So yeah, I had a team of people. We used to be out there in the field, trying to gain share. So very different from ITC. ITC was like a new entrant to a lot of the categories, but here it was more of a defense because Mondelez had 65% market share across categories which you had to protect, and a lot of people were attacking it from all sides.
Any stories from the Mondelez experience which was again different, refreshing or interesting? That any campaign, although you were as an ASM or any activation that you did that you want to talk about?
One of the most important jobs that I had was to protect and gain market share for chocolates in the Delhi market. And in FMCG, the best thing is that your market share is determined every day, and every month it is there in front of you to see. All over the country, everyone can see what you've done in the last month, right? Has your share gone up or gone down?
But is it all the chocolates or any specific brand?
The portfolio, but you have to focus your battle on what you can win. So in the modern trade channel, it's the premium products which sell more. So our battle was with Cadbury Silk, which was a relatively newish brand at the time, but was growing really quickly. So there was this view that this is an opportunity. Silk is growing very quickly, especially in modern trade, because people are willing to spend like 50 rupees versus 10 rupees in a general trade. So how can you gain share and kick out some of the other brands that are pushing in, like I think Mars and Ferrero were trying to get in. And modern trade is a channel where it's very easy for competition to enter. So you can deal with Reliance at a head office level and have your product in 600 stores across the country overnight. Unlike traditional trade where there's more of a moat, you have to build up distribution slowly. Modern trade is like overnight you can get that placement. So we were always under threat from competition, but I think growing Silk was a very big challenge, and the way to do that was to just increase the display, because the product is so good that if they see it, they're going to buy it. You see a Silk and you're just tempted, you're going to pick it up. So the biggest trick, I think, was to really increase the share of shelf for Silk in the stores, especially in Reliance retail, where before I came, the presence was very, very low. But there was this view that I had, because I had worked with Reliance at ITC, is that local relationships matter a lot more than official head office relationships, which was a departure from how things were done at Mondelez then. So I made it a point to just establish those linkages with the regional offices in Delhi and not assume that everything is decided in Bombay, because modern trade in India, the stores have a lot of power. Individual store managers are almost like owners of the store. So they don't just mechanically do whatever is told to them by their bosses. They are allowed a lot of freedom and independence to execute at their level. So I just focused on what was in my control, which was those local relationships, and that helped a lot. And at one point we crossed, I think, 75% market share, and then my sales director at the time was like, what have you done? How is this happening? So the important lesson which I follow till date is, like, whenever you're in a situation where you feel like everything is out of your control, that's usually not the case. There is always something that you can do, that you can focus on, which can make a difference, even if it seems small. So always important to focus on your locus of control rather than outside.
You seem to be doing very well at Mondelez. Then why did you get out of there?
So I think I was getting into a sales track there. So after that I got promoted and I moved as a national key account manager. So yeah, I mean, I just wanted to move to a marketing role, and I got that opportunity with Kohler, and some excellent people were working there. So I was very excited to work with them, in a different industry and also in a different function.
This is the question that I have. Like, wouldn't a lot of people feel like, I mean, FMCG is actually so fast, and it's relatively, from the outside, seems more glamorous, and things are happening all the time. You're launching new brands, new things all the time. I mean, if I think about Kohler, at least from the outside, and I know the reality is different, it seems like must be a much slower moving, thoda sa boring type of product hoga. Why did it excite you so much?
I think I was really attracted to the fact that it was a very luxury and lifestyle brand, which it is, and it's only gotten more so. Growing very quickly, because in India now there's a lot of attention and awareness on the way we live, what our lifestyle inside the home is like. We've been exposed to so much of travel and hotels, especially abroad, that now people in their homes they're not just accepting whatever their builder has given them or whatever their landlord has given them. They're a lot more focused on replicating the best experience they've had outside the home, in the home. FMCG is a really large industry in India, because most people can't afford to spend beyond the basics. But I think as our GDP grows, as people get richer, obvious that the share of wallet is going to move, not just going to remain in FMCG, but it's going to move to a whole host of other industries. Travel is a classic example. Who knew that travel can be so big? And interiors, lifestyle, automobiles, all of these are going to explode.
So you've been at Kohler for how long now?
6.5 years.
Wow. So you've actually seen the journey of
Yes,
Kohler
grown
take
it.
off in India.
Yes.
So tell us about that. Amongst the great campaigns that you've run, now you are like the marketing manager, managing the brand. So
I did a bunch of different things. I spent a lot of time on product and category, which is just building, physical products, new products, ensuring that they're built in a very profitable way. Building products designed in India for Indian consumers and manufactured in India. Okay. Because a lot of international brands believe that you can just import stuff and sell it here. But Kohler has a very different view, that in whichever market they operate, they will design products for that consumer. And I think that's a secret for success across industries. Any industry that you're in, one question you should ask that company is, do you invest in NPD for India? So that's very special about Kohler.
NPD is new product development.
New product development, right? How much energy and focus is there in the org to actually build for the Indian market? Because our market is very different from either China or US, which are the other two large markets. And nowadays, people are not willing to settle for whatever brand has been around for 50 years. You want the newest, latest and best for your home, especially because you're only doing it once in 15 or 20 years. You're not going to do it again and again.
Are people actually that brand conscious when they are looking to buy bathroom fittings? And it's a general question for all of you, like, do you guys actually notice when you go to any 5-star hotel or anywhere, kya fitting hai, kaun sa brand ka hai? Like you said, only when you make a home, you think about it.
It's that kind of category. It's when you are not making a home, you typically do not care beyond the functional part of it, ki chal raha hai ki nahi chal raha hai.
Exactly.
But when you're building your home now, you get totally obsessed with it. Then you're just out there researching stuff either on the internet or in stores because the home is a very, very personal thing. Your own home, okay? Your forever home. It's a very personal and a very emotional thing. Home is the source of like achievement and status for most of us. It's the culmination of years of effort, almost like a dream, a lifetime dream, that this is my home that I'm going to live in for a long time. I need to invite my friends and family over, show them what a lovely home I've built, right? And I want them to take pride, like I want to take pride in my home. I want them to acknowledge that I'm living in a beautiful home, and not only acknowledge that I have money and I've built this home. That is not the source of pride. I want them to acknowledge that I have excellent taste and sensibilities, that I am like a person with great aesthetic sense. So when you build your home, you're in that zone. You want every inch of it to be perfect and to reflect your personality. To answer your question on whether they know of a brand beforehand, we have extensive data on this through research. Consumers actually have only 2.3 brands in mind, and 90% of those consumers will buy from those 2.3 brands. So that's it. That's the really small set. It's not a very big set like in other categories. It's only 2.5 brands, and 90% of them will buy only those brands. So it's not like you'll go to a store and the guy will say, "Ye kuch local mal hai, aap le lo, it's half price." No, it's your home. Why would you compromise on your home? You want the best for your home. So it's actually a very, very brand conscious segment, but only for homeowners. For renters and like the younger population that floats, it is not very relevant.
Awesome. So I'm going to open up the floor for questions. Just before that, one plug from my side. I think you heard Urvi speak about and speak quite passionately about building a brand and marketing, etc. So for all of you who are going to business school, great. You will probably get a chance to intern and work with these companies. But otherwise, please do look at AltUni, where you get the chance to do all of that, via our programs. And also, you can sign up for KlubAltUni, which will help you interact with people like Urvi on a weekly basis, probably get a chance to work with them, get opportunities, interact regularly, and build meaningful, authentic connections, that can help you move ahead in your career. So yeah, that's my advertising. Let's open up the floor for questions.
Hi, my name is Radha, and it was great listening to you. I just had one question in mind. As you said that in Kohler, when you were working, the proportion of repeated customers must be very less. As you mentioned that it's probably in 15 to 20 years, right?
Yeah.
So how did you tackle that? How did you grow so much despite of the fact that repeated customers were so less?
I think that's the beauty of the Indian market, right? There's so many people who are entering the housing market for the first time that going after repeated customers has never been on our mind, because there's so much to be done with just first time home owners. And the repeat customers are high in the very luxury segments where people tend to own multiple properties across the country. So that's something that we anyway do. But luckily, I think I would say, looking at China's example, for the next 50 years, we're not going to have to worry about repeat customers. But if you look at the developed markets in the US, as people get richer and richer, they also start renovating their home more frequently. So by the time we run out of new homes, hopefully all of us will have enough money that we will want to change things on our own every 5 or 6 years.
So I'm Ankit Agarwal. Like I've actually done hotel management in my undergraduation. So I don't have much knowledge about finance, but yes, a basic knowledge of marketing. So how should I decide what is my calling? Though marketing excites me. Actually when you were telling your journey about branding and marketing, so that really excited me. So how should I go about it? How can I find my actual calling?
I think one very core aspect on your journey as you try to do this is extreme honesty with yourself and being able to cut out the noise that comes in from other people. I think mainly the noise comes from our family and friends, who are all very well-meaning. They mean well and they want the best for you, but that's the noise that affects us the most. So the journey is on refining your listening ability to your inner voice and the ability to tune out external voices. Whenever you have a moment of happiness at work, or you have a moment of joy, see if you can write that down, that today this thing made me happy, this was a source of enjoyment or excitement for me. Similarly, when something is really off and you had a bad day, try and write down what is it that made you unhappy and why it made you unhappy. Was it about you? Was it about somebody else? As you journal this over a period of time, you will start noticing some trends. Okay, these are the things that that you like, and these are the things that you dislike. And then it's a matter of accepting that this is who I am, this is what I like, and tuning out all the other stuff that comes with it. So start recording. I'll say that's a good way.
Do you believe in destiny, or like you were meant for marketing, or say like you?
No, I don't at all believe in that. I just think we all make our own luck, and I believe in that we are granted with certain privileges, no doubt. We all have some, God-given abilities and some environment in which we are raised, all of which we are thankful for. But luck is just a matter of preparation, because if you are prepared, some or the other opportunity will come. It may not be the one that you had exactly hoped for, but that's okay. You can still get lucky.
Urvi, thank you for being so insightful and authentic. Guys, a big round of applause for Urvi.
Performance marketing, e-commerce marketing, content marketing. Is this the world that you see yourself in? If you dream to work in these roles at Hindustan Unilever Limited, here's your chance. Apply to AltUni's certificate program in digital marketing with HUL. The participants achieved a return of 12 times the investment with an 80% average salary hike. Hurry up! Apply now to the program from the link in the description. Limited seats available.